There he is, the three-time featured poet in the multi-marketing anthology, Mr. Elia Mpatha. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. Welcome to the multi-marketing live interview on multi-marketing. We have two special announcements for everyone watching, so stay tuned until the end of this video. But right now, we're going to be speaking to Mr. Elia Mpatha. He's been featured in all three of the multi-marketing anthologies 3 years in a row, but this is not the first time we've had an interview. We previously interviewed him for his collection of poetry called If the World Only Knew back in 2021. It's on our YouTube channel. And we have the pleasure of him interviewing us at Multi Marketing on Thames Unveil, which is his YouTube channel, last year, in fact, in July. So this is quite coincidental. But we've never ever interviewed him for the anthology, which is shocking, the fact that he's been in all three, but we've never interviewed him for the anthology. But he is here today. So Mr. Mpatha, welcome and introduce yourself to the entire multi-marketing universe. Who is Elia Mpatha?
Well, Elia Mpatha is, I always start with, I'm an author. I write poetry. I am a father. I'm a husband, and I'm a phlebotomist at the laboratory. I don't think the name matters because I really work for many laboratories now. But I mean, I'm a very poet that loves writing about life experiences. So in short, that's me. I'm one person that writes in black and white, that likes to write about the good things that are happening in the world, that likes to see the good out of the bad things that are happening in the world, to say there are a lot of negative things that are happening, but I want to show people that we can make the good out of them. We can make the best out of all the bad things that are happening. We can change the scenarios that we are having out there.
Okay, so I know you've explained this when we did your book launch 2 years ago for If the World Only Knew, but for those who haven't seen it, for those who don't know, when and how did you start writing poetry?
Well, I can basically say I started in 2014. When I was in college, I was a bit sick that time, so I used to express myself a lot on paper as a diary. So that ended up being accidentally caught by someone else, and they got inspired by what I was writing, and from then I grew to realize that my work is actually inspirational to other people, to see that this person is seeing his pain in a different way. So from that, I also saw that from how I experience life and being inspired by my own life events and changing and developing and growing from them, it's something that makes me a better person the next day. It's something that can actually help someone else. Then I decided, okay, fine, why don't I actually help other people with the same thing that helps me? Then that's how I actually became an author.
Okay, so you have released two of your own solo books already. You've released There's a Train Coming, that was with a UK-based publishing company called United PC. Then with Multi Marketing, you released If the World Only Knew. That was your second book. You do have a third one upcoming. I think we call The Final Stanza, if I'm not mistaken. That's a forthcoming book from yourself. But you have
Yeah.
been featured in three of the anthologies, all three. That means you've had 6 poems in total in the multi-marketing anthology. So for people who want to purchase copies of the anthology, read your poetry, and maybe even your own solo work, If the World Only Knew and There's a Train Coming, and eventually The Final Stanza, what is your poetry going to?
Well, but it's basically from my introduction. My poetry it lies basically on that. I can say it's it's based on black and white. I keep saying black and white, and I want people to mark that about me. It's about a council of years, the wisdom that I've gained over the years, the life experiences that we have in our era, or the time that we are living in now, the things that we see every day and we don't sometimes realize how important they are. And I kind of highlight factors like that, things like identity. How important is that? Why are we different? Why should we praise that? Those are things that we we most of the time undermine. So in my work, I highlight things like that to say we are different because you wouldn't have a choice to choose from what is more precious from what is not if things were not different. I would highlight things like death, for example. We wouldn't appreciate life if there was no death. You get what I'm saying? So it's things like that. Being broke, you wouldn't appreciate saving and uh, appreciating having the little that you have if you've never been broke. So it's things like that. My work is about that. It's showing you the negative side and show you the positive side of things. So I call it black and white, but I don't know how somebody would perceive it, but it's how I try to highlight the day to day things that we encounter in a way that I want people to grow from them.
Okay, so guys who are watching, if you have any questions whatsoever for Mr. Elia Mpatha, drop it in the comment section below. At the end of this interview, we'll do a Q&A if you have any questions for him. Before I continue the interview, I just wanted to ask, do you have your copy with the anthology there with you at the moment?
I do.
Okay, just hang on to that because at the end of the interview, we will ask you to read out one of your poems for the audience so they can get a taste of what kind of poetry to experience from your work. Now, you said you don't know how people will perceive your work, but for those poetry, who is your poetry aimed at, and what do you hope people will achieve from reading your poetry?
Well, for one, it's perspective of life. When you read my poetry, you realize that if you read it once, the second time you read it, you will get a different, deeper meaning from the first time you read it. And the second time you read it, you will always learn something better than when you read it the first time. So it shows you that you can be wrong about something when you just glance it and make a conclusion about it, rather than when you take time to make decisions on something, or even if you don't understand something, you give yourself time to understand it. Allow yourself to be wrong about it if you don't understand it, and be okay with not understanding it, but still go back to it to say, I still want to understand why this happened. You will realize that you will get a better understanding when you give yourself time into allowing yourself time to understand why things happen. Then you get what I'm saying. That's how my poetry works. It teaches you something, because it's not like one of those poems that you read like a quote and then you're like, oh, I get it. It's poetry that you would love, because every time you go back to it, it's like eat some more. You know, the
Yeah.
biscuits. Uh, the idea behind eat some more. It was when you eat eat some more, you want to take more. You want to keep going to it. So yeah, my poetry is like that. You don't read once and you're like, oh, I'm fine with it. Sometimes it's even in a negative way. You read it and you're like, ah, I don't understand this. I'm not going to bother with it. That's the same thing with my poems. You would be like, no, I don't understand. But if you give yourself another time to say, okay, fine, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to read it again, then you will be disappointed, because you will get something, and then you want to go again, and then you want to go again, because you will always get something new every time you actually go for it.
You've been published now. I guess you can call yourself a 5-time published author, soon to be a 6-time published author. How have the people you know around you reacted to the fact that you are published so many times over?
Well, it's a very touchy response. I mean, people start seeing you as this famous person that they never knew that you are, because I'm a very, I can say, very shy person, and people don't know that side of me. And I barely talk about me being an author, and I've never really liked the spotlight. So when they actually see my work, and then they're like, "Ah, you're published. How did you get there?" And all of that. So it's a very nice feeling to have, because it makes you realize that you have achieved something over the years, something that makes you proud of yourself as a person, even better than thinking about the revenue and all of the things that you get from the books that you have published. So I'm really getting a positive give out of me publishing the books, and it gives many people hope also that they can actually achieve what they want to achieve. But more than anything, it's about people realizing that it's not only for the world to know, it's for you to know that I had a goal and I achieved it. And to my grave, I will know that I did what I was meant to do, and I feel proud of myself. So yeah, it's quite a good um, it's quite a good atmosphere that I get from the surroundings that I have.
Okay, so we mentioned now that you have a forthcoming book that we've yet to decide when it's going to be released, called The Final Stanza.
Yeah,
I believe a combination is a compilation of all your poetry from If There's a Train Coming, If the World Only Knew, and your last book, which was supposed to be Behind the Mask, but you've decided to put it all together as one final collection called The Final Stanza. The name being after the final stanza, what happens to Elia Mpatha? Can people expect to see more poetry from you, or what will happen to the poet Elia Mpatha?
well, that is a tough part, because like you were asking me if other people, how do they feel about it. Everybody's like, no, don't stop writing, we like your work, and yeah. So I mean, uh going on the anthologies and uh, writing the final stanza. The final stanza is the final stanza because I am stopping to actually write the individual books of my own. Uh, I want to actually give more attention to my family and use the books that I've written already, give them attention to explain what I've written with interviews. I think with multi-marketing has a lot of projects that they have that can improve what I've done already, to give life to those books that I've written already, to say, yeah, who's this guy? Who's Elia Mpatha? And with those books, nobody knows them anyway. So there are people that know about the books, but I want the whole South Africa to know about them. And for them to know about them, it's me talking about the books. It's me explaining the books. It's me giving information about those books. So those interviews, those sessions that we will have are going to actually uh, give more better expression of me and more visibility of me than putting more publishing books. Then people might forget about where I started. So that's what I want to do. And in regards to writing, I mean, I'll still write for multi-marketing every year. So people will still get a bit of me. and of course, more of me about the books that I've written, even about the poems that they have never heard of that I've written already. So I'll still be around. I won't be gone really in poetry because I love poetry.
Okay, so this next question is one of my favorites because every single author we've interviewed has had a different story and a different tale to tell. But I always like asking this question. So, when and how did you find out about multi marketing, and how has your experience been with us thus far?
Well, that is my favorite thing also because finding multi-marketing was a bit of a I never thought I would find a company in South Africa that actually publishes poetry because there's a lot of them. If you go on the internet, you get tons, but when you actually approach, you don't get any good response. Yeah, it's quite a long trail. So I got it via Snowpit, and then they got back to me, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. Let me just give it all and see what's gonna happen. So yeah, it was a give and take. I was not sure that I was going to get through, but multi-marketing got back to me. And since then, it has been that connection until today. So uh, I can say that multi-marketing is one personal company that holds you by the hand like a child until you get it. So yes, that has been my experience with multi-marketing.
Okay, so now that you are published 5 times and soon to be 6 times, what advice would you give to other poets and aspiring authors out there?
Well, what I can say is it's important that this might sound a bit maybe new or difficult to some authors that have never heard about multi-marketing, but multi-marketing is the only company that I know at the moment. Find a publishing company, like self-publishing is the easiest way to publish your book. That is my advice, number one. Two, publish only when you are ready to publish. In terms of your manuscript is ready, you are ready to edit when you are asked to edit. You are ready to provide the financials if you are ready to like at least have maybe 5,000 to publish your book. Have the support, like inform your family members, your friends that I'm publishing a book, because publishing with self-publishing, it's a straining thing, and it's not just about uh, you having the money to publish the book. You need support even after publishing. So you still need to talk to those people. Okay, fine. I need to do marketing after publishing your book. It doesn't end there. After you published, you need to have a way to sell your book. If it's not going to be distributed by you, it's still going to cost you to have another company run it for you. So it's things you must be willing to have to take your writing as a business because it's self-publishing. You shouldn't see it as you must know the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing, of which all that information is there on multi-marketing's website and our on the multi-marketing's website. There's a website that we use for it's like a bookstore where everyone can go either to place their book there for selling it, even if they are not published with multi-marketing. On that store you can get information about what is traditional publishing and self-publishing, so that helps you understand what is the difference between the two, so that you understand self-publishing is you going all out for your work, and knowing that marketing your book doesn't stop. It's a consistent thing. So those are things that I think authors should understand, because you don't get your funds, and people think once you publish, you're going to get this lot of money. Yes, your book can get a lot of money if you are actually getting sales, but if you are not, then you are not. But again, there's a lot of money in self-publishing. I know it because I've published a lot of times. If you are having your books in hand, for example, you have your hard copies, and people know about your book even in your local area, you are selling that book, every cash comes to you, but the printing is not as expensive as if you are printing the book of somebody else, because it's at a cheaper price, it's your book, and you sell it at your desired price. So it's working. So that's what I want people to understand, that you must treat it as your business, because at the end of the day, you have some kind of a control, like a business owner, over that book.
Okay, I do mentioned that people can go to multi-marketing. If they go to mmstore.co.za, they click on multi-marketing services right at the top, multi-marketing publishing, click on that, and you're going to get every single piece of information that you need about publishing. But as you mentioned that, I was thinking in my mind to ask this question. I've asked this question to every other author, and I think I may know part of the answer, but it's better coming from the horse's mouth. So the question is, what does the future hold for Elia Mpatha? What do you want to achieve going forward?
Well, I've never been somebody. I know it's my weakness as a person, but it's also my strength in a way, because I really pray on that. I live on that. I want to be one person who really breeds, or who helps more authors to publish, but not just to publish. I want more South Africans to start reading again. And if I can see that happening, I'll be happy. If I can see more authors becoming, the celebrities in South Africa, being, bringing literature back to life again, that would be the most exciting thing ever if I can contribute towards that.
Okay, so on page 50 of the multi-marketing anthology, you have your social media links. But for those who don't have a copy of the book yet, where can they find you online?
Okay, I can say, because I have a lot of I have a lot of social medias now, because I've started working on different business lines now. I'm going to give the ones that are relevant. On Twitter, it's at Elia Mpatha, and then on Instagram, it's at Elia, small letters. Then it's 1987 9, and then at Facebook, it's Elia. It's at Elia dot Mpatha dot or full stop 5. Then they can use those for now, because those are the ones that are really active for social medias. Then I am live on those ones. You can use any of those, then you will definitely find me. I will respond as soon as I receive those comments or questions or anything that you would like to ask me.
Okay, so I mentioned in the anthology you have two poems featured this year, as you have every year. This year you have two poems featured. One is called My Garden, My Glow, and the other is called Story. So to give the viewers here a taste of what to expect in terms of your poetry, and maybe will want to purchase the multi-marketing anthology this year's or the previous years to see more of your poetry, just give them a little bit of taste of what to experience. You can choose any or two of your poems and just read one of them out to us.
Okay, I'm going to read stories. Yeah, that's my favorite. Stories. Behind my brainyard, multitudes are lorries. Lorries loading stories. The, fo- the misfortunes of marrying an author. His flowers are words, resembling roses. I have so many stories to tell. I cannot let go. Stories to tell we made. Endless precious deeds made in a moment. Emotions meant for no stationary man but movement. With you, I broke laws. I broke laws of common society. To ourselves, let's not commit suicide. Our love doesn't deserve it. Our love doesn't deserve it. Deserts are full of dirt and thirst, so to blind our eyes with dust and shut our strength with thirst. May our hearts flood with love despite love spikes. I could be quiet like a mute if I had no words to say. I could avoid and ignore your presence if I had no reason to stay. I only write for my words come from the heart to heal a hurting heart. I only write for I have no words to hold. Luckily, I won a lottery of wisdom, full of blank notes for me to right the wrongs. Holding hands keeps me warm. Holding hands keeps me warm. Looking at you turns engines on. Rapid goes my heart. Rapid goes my heart rate at your throne. I have stories to tell. So that's my poem for 2024, which is the second poem on the anthology. I don't know how people are going to perceive that. It's a very tricky poem, and I am so intrigued to hear on the Q&A how people are going to perceive that. Some people think it's a love story. I've got some reactions already between two lovers. Some people think it's it's a poem about me talking to someone about either either me talking to someone about something that we believe in together, not even somebody that I am in love with, but someone that we have worked hard on something and we don't want to let go on that mission. So I don't know what our viewers think, but I'm interested to see what they are going to think about the poem itself. But it says I have stories that are loaded in my backyard, and those stories are basically stories about the good moments, and those good moments are disturbed by a lot of things that we encounter. But I don't know what people are going to think about it. I'm still going to have separate sessions to explain the poem, so good luck. I hope they enjoy the poem.
So that's a challenge laid down from Elia and Mpatha to everyone watching this video. If you think that you know what this poem is about, we'd love to hear your perception of it. Drop it in the comment section of this video down below. At the moment, I don't see any questions. So Elia and Mpatha, before I make my announcements, before we wrap this interview up, what is your concluding remarks for everyone watching?
Well, I would like to say people must actually enjoy 2024 multi-marketing anthology book. It's one of those interesting books. It's actually leveling up every year. So this is also one of those books that people must enjoy. We did our best to give them the most interesting literature we could. So every year we are going to do the same, and I will be there in 2025, God's willing. So yeah, they must just enjoy, and give us some kind of survey. Tell us how they feel, what we must add, what we must remove. We are here to listen because we are serving them with the work that we are writing.
Indeed, we are leveling up every year, because if you look at the size of the 2022 anthology and the size of the 2024, it has actually gotten thinner, and that's only because we get the best. Only the very best get selected every year. That is why you may see less poems, but the quality of the poetries and the short stories increase. So that is what he meant by leveling up every year. So to wrap things up, before I say my adieus, I have two announcements to make. First off, we haven't determined the date yet, but I actually will be the next person being interviewed for the multi-marketing anthology. For those who don't know, I do have a short story in the 2023 and 2024 anthologies. I've written short stories. Of course, for those who do know, I was formerly a self-published author myself before I started multi-marketing. So I guess it just keeps my creative juices flowing to be featured in each and every one of these anthologies. So yeah, I have two short stories featured. I will be interviewed about my feature in the multi-marketing anthologies by none other than the man who I'm interviewing right now. His name is Elia Mpatha. We'd like to officially welcome him to the multi-marketing family, the multi-marketing team. He will be joining us at the multi-marketing company and helping it grow and taking it to the next level. So, Elia Mpatha, welcome. And my second announcement is, it's a bittersweet moment, but this is my official retirement from full-time interviewing here on the multi-marketing channels. Going forward, Mr. Mpatha will be in charge of administrating and hosting these interviews on the multi-marketing channel. Of course, if he is unable to make it, I may drop in from time to time, but only on a part-time basis. He is now taking over full-time as the full-time interviewer. He is the new face of multi-marketing. You will see him in all the multi-marketing platforms going forward. We have so many great projects for you guys coming up, so just stay tuned. They are coming up very quick. So, Elia Mpatha, again, welcome to the multi-marketing family. I'm sure all the viewers will enjoy watching your interview. But until I see you guys next time, whenever that may be, but Elia Mpatha will see you very soon, because he'll be conducting my next interview and all the interviews after that going forward. But until I see you guys next time, for the very last time ever, I'm director of marketing, Naushad Khan. For Elia Mpatha, I'm the director of multi-marketing, Naushad Khan. And we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.